Smell that shit. That should smell good, boy. I love me my coffee. But this shit is fucking... If you're wondering why it's oily, it's MCT oil. It's alright. For most young men, they go about their lives smoking drugs, partying, doing these instant gratification activities, and there's nothing wrong with that. I can't tell you what to do, but there is an outlier. There is a man, one in maybe a million, that doesn't like that shit, that doesn't get why people do that. Why do you want to go jerk off? Why do you want to go play video games and watch Netflix? He doesn't really get it because maybe he has a different backstory. Maybe he comes from poverty. Maybe he's experienced traumas like health traumas or poverty trauma, and now he wants to make sure that never happens again. But then again, his mum's working super hard. He has a single mum or something, and then this guy, this individual, one in a million, also takes responsibility for everything, sees that his relatives are working super hard, his uncles, his aunties, they're all struggling in their own ways, and he doesn't like the look of it, and he doesn't want himself, more importantly, to be a waste of oxygen. He doesn't want his life to be wasted in just these sort of meaningless ways. He wants to contribute something to the world. He wants to retire his mum early. He wants to retire his whole family. Maybe he's even a dreamer. Maybe he dreams about having this giant, nice countryside home where he can have his mum in the giant house and share this amazing type of life with his entire family, uncle, auntie. And maybe this man, this young man, maybe that's you. Maybe you're the child prodigy, in which case me and you are very similar. If you're anything like me and you've rejected the modern day way of life and you've gone back to reading books, improving yourself, hitting gym consistently, and you know in fact you're a hard worker, you've been working hard, you haven't been making excuses, you know deep down into your heart that you've been working as hard as possible, then this video is very important. Because I want to propose you something that may actually make you achieve success earlier. Make you have that drive. Put a sort of deadline or a fire under your seat so that you can actually work even harder. Provide a retirement to your mum even earlier. And maybe experience insane growth. Because I believe time, especially if you're a teenage entrepreneur, is running out. Because I believe there is a downfall at 18 years old. There is a hit that you can either make or break at 18 years old. Because this is when you become an adult. And this is where you become responsible for a lot more things. If you already have a responsibility mindset of taking responsibility of everything that's maybe not even in your control, you got rejected by the girl, okay, it's your fault, you're not attractive enough, you didn't try hard enough, you didn't work hard. If you already have this, good, but at 18, a whole bunch of shit is going to go onto your shoulders. And some 50-year-old on Reddit or some shit is going to say, oh no, it's going to be worse at 30 years old, 18-year-olds fine, you get to party and whatever. Yes, I agree, but we are different. We are different than the average human being, are we not? So how is there a downfall at 18? Well, I have 3 reasons here. One is you are put into the world unguarded, and it's going to hit you heavy. I heard it from a podcast somewhere. It may be Jordan Peterson, it may be Alex Hormozi. It's someone very smart. And I've heard that once you hit 18, you are thrown out into the world, whether you've gone to college or not, or it's after university, or however you want to look at it. You are thrown into the world with responsibilities, and you have to go and work a job now. You are thrown out. You are no longer babysitted by the government. You are no longer babysitted with universal credit or like the government benefits, right? And you're no longer babysitted by school. There's no authority figure like a teacher or any form of guidance that you would normally have in school. Oh, here's a piece of paper, do this. Oh, memorize this, do this. And then, oh, today, the next week, we're gonna have a test. Make sure you prepare for it. No. You are not going to have any of that unless you have skills that you've built in the background, like to-do lists, learning how to be productive. But it's gonna hit you hard, bro. The second reason is your friends and your family members may actually treat you differently. Now, this is very, very subjective to your looks. Obviously, if you're 18 and you still look like a scrawny 14-year-old, it may influence it a little bit differently. But generally, if you're 18, your testosterone levels are healthy, they're decent, and you've had a nice growth, you're tall now, you got a little bit of facial hair, they're going to treat you a little bit differently. They're going to have this edge, this hinge in their mind, this blockade in their mind. Whenever they're taking you out to dinner, for example, they're going to be a little bit suspicious in treating you and paying your bill for the dinner, because they know that you're now capable of working, right? And you're now capable of paying, and so why should we pay for another adult? Obviously, your mum would probably cook for you and pay for you anyways because she's your mum, but generally, if you're going out with your mum's friends or it's a social gathering, they're going to expect you to do something. They're going to expect you to chip in a little bit because now you're an adult. And number three, your mum or your family members might actually stop providing so much. This is a more specific thing to my scenario, but essentially my mum said that when I am 18, she is going to stop providing for me. Now, this may be just bluff, maybe just a word, because you know how mothers are, right? But it goes to say that you have to work harder. Because think about it, if your mum's not providing for you, you don't have food, you don't have a place to live. And I don't think there has been a history in time where Asian mum has allowed her son to be a basement dweller. But there is an upside to this. There is a make it. We've just discovered break it. So how do we make it? What is the path and what are the steps to follow? Well, I have good news for you. And you can take this as good news or bad news actually, but you can essentially treat 18 as a deadline for you to accomplish X. So however much you want to accomplish. And a good person, a good influencer I like to take as a path to follow is Iman Gadzhi. He, I believed, achieved that like 10K per month or so. And then at 18, he hit his first million. It's a little bit hard, right? I'll admit it's a very, very big and aiming for the stars type of goal. But for me and you, if you've watched this far, you're likely the child prodigy I want to talk to, right? We may actually be able to do that, and maybe even faster if you've been more traumatized, you're more hardworking than Iman was. Iman Gadzhi is this, forgive me for not explaining, right? But he's this young millionaire that's really, really successful from young childhood. He's been through basically poverty, right? And he's also not had a father figure, and now he's literally a masculine and a rich guy. So he took the trauma, transmuted it into success. And essentially 16 years old, he's been flipping fucking Instagram accounts, making like a few hundred, and then at 17 he makes 10K, and then at 18 he makes his first million, and then at like 21 years old, like 10 million or some shit. It's just success. It's very, very weird. It's never really like linear. It's never like, oh, so 16 I'm gonna make 1,000, and then 17 I'm gonna make 10,000, and then 18 I'm gonna make 100,000. No. It's like, it's almost like, and then bam, like that most of the time, right? And so you could become this 20-year-old millionaire, but I want to know some side effects of this, right? If you grind a little bit too hard, this is something Iman Gadzhi says, which I frankly don't really understand yet, but I'll just take it from a wiser man, right? He said that if he grinded a little bit slower, he took it a little bit slower, he'd be much more mentally stable now. Because apparently now he's like, obviously he seems fine on camera or whatever, right? But if he said that if he took it slower and he really, really like chilled out with life. He didn't completely like stress out every single day. I have to make money fast. He probably would have made a bunch more money. But if I'm to be honest, I don't really get that. I want to rush. I like the rushing feeling. So I'm currently rushing, but take it as you will, right? If you're more of like a artistic and I'm gonna enjoy life, I'm stoic, I'm gonna experience life. If you're more of that type of guy, then sure, take it slower. But for most people, rushing is probably the most beneficial thing. Because what is the stereotypical grind years, right? What is the typical years that a man gets wealthy? Maybe 30, or if you're a little bit more advanced, 20 to 30. But if you're a little bit more like me, you can use the 13-year-old to the 18-year-old time period to build your wealth. For most people, they don't even fucking do this. They literally party 20 to 30 and then, I'm gonna settle down, get a job, and then get a wife, and then my wife doesn't love me. Most people do that, right? And then a little bit above that is the guy who grinds in his 20 to 30s, super high value man. But what about the guy that's 13 to 18? And if you do actually grind during those years, and you actually grind hard as shit, and you actually are successful, you can become one of these young millionaires, these motherfuckers like Sebastian Gorju, Iman Gadzhi. So just taking Iman Gadzhi's footpath as guidance, you can almost see this as going to college as grind time. Going to secondary school and then college. I don't know how it is in your country, right? What the names are, but for England, it's secondary school and then college. These times are the best times to put yourself under stress. Get used to that stress, and also building your business with a bunch of bullshit on you. So in school, you're going to have homework, exams, etc. And then you're going to be building this business underneath all of that. And this is good to train you. You have to basically achieve success in your business, like maybe 10K per month. That's pretty good, right? And then you can drop out of school. I think Iman Gadzhi recommends like you're going to make at least 3K or 5K to drop out of school. And essentially, once you start making that, you can then drop out of school. But because I see a lot of people nowadays say that they're gonna drop out of school and I'm gonna go on a rapping career and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. But why don't you do that alongside school? See if you can handle the stress and build that discipline first, so that when you're released into a world with no guidelines, no boundaries, no authority figure to tell you what to do, you then know what to do, instead of like literally going down a rabbit hole and then like 20 years later, I'm gonna go back to university. No, grind it along with school, and then once it takes success, drop out if you want. So how do we do this? Well, we have to first choose to make it or break it, and we have to either go 2 foot that way or 2 foot this way. We can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But first, I want to give you a saying from Arnold. Arnold said that he's never ever had a backup plan for every one of his pursuits in life, whether it's his bodybuilding, whether it's his movie career, whether it's his governor of California. He's never had a backup plan. He's never had plan B. He always went to his goals. He's always chased them, and especially the goals that people say, that's impossible, why are you trying that? And he went towards that, bam, achieved, easy. And so if you have a backup plan, so for example, if you do a good amount of revision for school, do your exams, make sure exams are above average, and then you also work on your side hustle a little bit, your dropshipping business, I don't believe you can achieve success that way. I'm sorry to say this, but this is like, it goes against everything in my religion. It goes against everything that I believe. If you focus 50% of your energy into school just as a backup plan, and 50% into your side hustle, your dropshipping business or whatever, you won't ever be great in one singular thing. You won't be this insane bodybuilder. If Arnold literally tried to be a movie star and a bodybuilder at the same time, that wouldn't work. He'd be a mediocre bodybuilder and a mediocre movie star. Because you have to focus on one and accomplish something in one first. Become number one in one thing first, and then maybe if you want to switch. I'm sorry to say this, but I just don't really get the motherfuckers who have backup plans. Plan B. I'm gonna make sure that this is a backup plan, man. Yeah. And then they literally sit back and say that I have average grades. I have to make sure I have average grades as a backup plan. and they think they're all fucking smart like that. It pisses me off. You are not smart if you do that. You have to achieve one thing first. This is why there's a book, right? There's a book called Essentialism, and there's a diagram, you can search this up. There's a diagram with a circle here and a circle here, and these are energy balls. I guess you can say energy. And one guy with a really, really long arrow all the way to the top. This is the motherfucker that hones down, like fucking Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, all into one thing. It's just, you have to do one thing at a time. The idea of side hustle is just, it doesn't make sense to me. One really long arrow, and then this guy is like multiple different arrows. Like, oh, I'm gonna go learn surfing. I'm gonna learn how to do ballet dancing. I'm gonna learn how to do piano. I'm gonna learn how to do violin. And this is like, just as a side note, this is like the fucking downfall of Asian mothers, right? Asian mothers want you to go to a fucking Chinese revision class and an English revision class and piano class, violin class, become a doctor as well while you're at it, and it spreads you out too thin. There's too many arrows and you won't be great in one singular thing. Because look at the top athletes, right? Fucking Kobe Bryant, Michael Phelps, they all focus on one thing. Imagine Michael Phelps trying to master basketball as well. It would not work. So have the idea of no backup plans, because this puts you, I don't know if you feel this, right? This is more of like a personal thing. This puts you like life on the edge a little bit. It makes the life spicy. It adds spice to your life. It's exciting. It's like you have to achieve this goal or you're fucked. So what is the right split, or what is the right ratio for you to go and approach your life with? Well, I believe it's actually 20% academics. So make sure that you're doing the average amount of homework, and 80% your own work, your own business work. And make sure you're prioritizing this business first. So for example, maybe doing it first thing in the morning, waking up early, doing it in the morning, and then going to school. Because if you go to school first, it'll drain your brain and you won't have as much presence into your business as you can have if you just start in the morning first. And so why I didn't say 10% in school, it's just like fuck school and no one cares about school, is because there is a sort of balance, right? You sort of have to do the homework, otherwise you get in trouble. You get put on like support plans or whatever, and then you have to attend extra tutorial lessons. It's disgusting. So the best thing, the most optimal way to approach this is actually just to do the bare minimum of everything. Make sure you're handing in the homework, and then you approach your actual work, your business work, with so much more presence and without this like background for, oh, I still have homework to do. Oh, next lesson she's gonna scold me for not doing homework or handing in homework. Just do the homework and then approach your work in a better mood. And so I believe this is the path of the child prodigy. The man who works from 13 because he's been fucking traumatized with poverty or whatever. He sees his single mum working super hard and he wants to retire his mum. 13 all the way to 18, make a meal, then have a good life and keep on working. And then obviously I don't know what's after the 18, right? And I guess we'll just have to see all of these young millionaires, how they'll handle it and what they'll do with their lives. And then we can make another video on that. With that being said, if you are interested in getting a lean, aesthetic V-taper body that's also strong, whether you're skinny now or you're bulky now, check the link in the description below if you're interested. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, bro. In a bit.